My name is Tom Brown. This is FTE 217. Casey Workman is the instructor, and this is January the 11th, 2026. This is a week 2 assignment, part 2, naming the 6 components of the AR-15 that I want to talk about. And the first component I'm going to talk about is the barrel. The barrel. So if I'm going to take some notes here, so I'm just going to read from my notes here. The barrel functions basically guides the projectile, allows gas to be tapped for cycling, and the part of this cycle of operation is the firing and gas operating for the firing procedure, basically with the unlocking. The second part that I'm going to talk about component is the bolt carrier group. This function, it seals basically the chamber, cycles the action itself, extracts and ejects the spent round after it's been fired. The parts of the cycle of operation that this entails is the locking, the firing, the unlocking, the extracting, and the ejecting, and again the cocking. Okay. The bolt carrier group is primarily the movement assembly that handles the locking and unlocking and moves the cartridges through the actual system itself. The third part component I'm going to talk about is the bolt itself. It locks into the bolt extension and contains pressure. The area that it falls under the cycle of operation is the locking, the firing, and the unlocking. That's number 3. Number 4, I'm going to talk about the actual gas system itself, the gas tube, the gas keys. The function here transfers gas and energy basically from the barrel carrier group, okay? And the parts of the cycle of operation that functions here is the unlocking and the rearward movement of the actual bolt carrier group itself, okay? Number 5, I'm going to talk about the buffer and the buffer spring itself. The function there absorbs the recoil energy and returns the bolt carrier group forward, okay? And again, part of the parts of the cycle of operation here is rearward movement and returning the battery. Number 6 is the magazine. Basically, this is where the rounds are kept, and this basically has to do with the feeding and the chambering of the round. Those are your 6 components that I'm going to talk about. This is part 3, and this is basically demonstrating my AR-15, the cycle of operation. I've just reassembled my AR-15, and what I'm going to do first, before I even demonstrate the cycle of operation, is make my weapon safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the magazine and make sure there's no round in it. And I am going to physically and visually see, make sure that there's no round. I'll pull my the charging handle back. Make sure that physically, like I said, visually see, make sure, and basically you have a safe weapon, okay? So I'm going to remove the actual magazine because I don't need that, and then I'm going to explain the cycle of operation. Basically, the first part is the feeding part of it. So once you've got a seated magazine with rounds and stuff, all you're going to do is have the bolt carrier group move forward. What takes place there is the feeding part of the cycle of operation. That's the first step. That's where the round is extracted from the magazine itself and it's being chambered. That is the second part of the round. And what's happening is as it's chambering, what's happening now, you're going to lock it. So what's happening is once the cartridge is chambered into the barrel and the bolt carrier group, the bolt itself, is locked in, it's locked into place where the round is in the chamber. Then the next thing is the firing. Once you take and you pull the trigger and the round is fired, then basically what that takes place is the firing pin extracts the cap of the actual cartridge and the explosion takes place. When that takes place, this is a gas operated. What happens is once that takes place, it's the unlocking part of the actual bolt because of the gas come back in, and it's going to push the round backwards. And what takes place is, as that's happening, the extractor on the end of this bolt is going to grab the round, pull it backwards, and it's actually the spent cartridge itself. And what's going to happen is it's pulling it back, then it extracts it out of the weapon. Then what takes place there? That's the unlocking part, and the extracting and the ejecting. The next part is basically and this is all happening real fast. So the bolt is actually down and back. And what happens is, again, when it goes back forward, it's pulled another round from the magazine, and it is again doing the exact same. It's the cocking part of the cycle of operations, and the weapon's ready to fire again. So that is the cycle of operation.